So we start with installation instruction. First, you have to download your version from the official website. So you go first to the website and then you select your version based on your platform. So select your version. After that, you will download a zip file, unzip this file, and in and then you will get these files. So our file is UPPAAL. Just double click on this file and then start modeling using UPPAAL. So here the interface of UPPAAL that you will use for modeling your system. Here is the full instructions of installing UPPAAL. One thing here, you should install Java in your PC. Java should be installing in your PC to run the UPPAAL, because UPPAAL is jar file, so you need to install Java also. As I mentioned, the architecture of UPPAAL is a composition of two parts. The first is the client, and the second, the server. So for the server, we will not touch the server. The server, we just send an inquiry to the server and receive the result. So we should to learn the other part, which is the user interface. We should to learn everything related to user interface, because in the user interface we model our system. In the user interface we simulate our system, and then lastly also we verify the system. So as it's seen here, there is three main tabs in the user interface. So as you see here, in the user interface there is three main tabs. The first is the editor, simulator, and verifier. So the editor used for modeling the system, for creating the time automata, for creating the variables, either global or local variables, also for create the system process. So the main tab is editor, which used for create the model. The second tab is the simulator. So the simulator is used for exam the system, exam the behavior of the system. So what we mean by the behavior? The sequence of the state, which stage first and then the next, and then. While the third tab is used for verify the properties. So in the third tab, the verifier is used to send the query to the server and then receive the result. Here also, to verify the result or to verify the inquiry, you just press check and then see what's the result. So if it's green, that means this property is satisfied. If it's red, so this property is not satisfied. Let's go now to the software itself, to the UPPAAL, and see how this tab works. As we see here, we have three tabs. The first is editor, simulator, and verifier. Actually, this is also used for simulators, but let's consider it as only three tabs: editor, simulator, and verifier. So as I mentioned, the editor is used for developing the time automata. So in this window, we will develop the time automata, and then We go to simulator to examine the behavior of the system and then to verify the system. So in the editor, we use we develop the timed automata, or we can say the automata. Each automata have a name, and this name it's called a template. Template because we can create more than one process from these time automata. So the time automata can be you can here in the time automata you can change the name it's as you want. So in this time automata we just what we have here in time automata we have two main tools is add location and add edge, and the other just to edit the, these two tools. So for adding edge we just press add edge and then add another edge. Here this pointer just to change the position, change the properties. So once you want to add another edge you just press edge and then add the edge. So here we develop one timed automata, and then also as we say we can change the name. So in each time automata have so if we come now to the variables in the system, in this for the variable here we have two types of the variables. So we can declare the variable as a global. So if we declare any variables in this area, so this variable is a global. But in each timed automata, in each automata, we have also another variables. If we define the variable here, it will be local. Here also, if we want to declare also, or we can pass a variable to the time automata, we can also define or declare the variable is here. So the declaration of the variable we have as a global or inside the time automata as a local, or we can here define variables if we want to pass a variable to the timing automata. This is about the parts of uh, editor. One thing more here, we can develop more than one timing automata. As a default, you get only one, but if you want to add another one, so we just go to edit and then insert template. So once we insert template, we can develop another automata. So the second issue here, that's every time automata is a composition of edge and location. The location and the edge have some properties. So each location have properties. We can change these properties just by double click. So once I double click, so I can change the name of this location or the state. The second also we can change the type of this location. Okay, let's see now. Just we have only initial state and normal state. Later we can see what the mean the origin and the commit. So here the second, if we want to add invariance. So what we mean by the invariance, we say it's a logical expression used to control how long can stay in this location. The second is for edge. The edge we have the selection, we have the guard, synchronize, and the update. The selection actually is the identification, the ID of this edge. Later we see how we can use this one with example. Or the second one is the guard. Actually, as we mentioned before in the last class, the guard is the condition that should be satisfied or should be true to pass this transition. Here is the guard. The guard is a condition. If this condition is true, so we can pass this transition. The synchronize use for channel to communicate with another timed automator. This is update used for assign the value. Assign some value. For example, if you want to reset the clock or reset some variable, so you can assign the value is here. So there is three main properties. The first one is the guard, which is the conditions. Synchronize is the channel. Update is the assign value to variables. So if you go to the second part, which is, so let's also rename this to S2. So after develop the automator, so we can go to simulator. Okay, but before we have here the system declaration. We have declaration for variable or any variables that you want to use it. You can declare it as a global. So in this place, also we have the second one for local. We have the third one for the process. The system, how many process this system is a composition. So the system can be composition a number of process. So in here we have the template is user. So we can, for example, create one user or two users. So if I create one user, you want so this is, so now we have in this system only one user. So we can create two user, for example, U1 and U2. So now if you go to the simulator here, as we see, just to see the behavior, how the system is work. So as we see, we can start with S1 and then go to S2 and then back to S1, S1, S2, S1, S2, and then it's, so we can examine the behavior of the system and how this system is work. So this is the second part, which is the simulator. We can simulate this one is manually by next, or we can let the system examine the system randomly by click in random here, and then we see how it will work. Actually, it's a very simple example, nothing. We have only two locations just to illustrate how it's work, how the UPPAAL is work. The last part is the verifier. In the verifier, as we say, it just used to send an inquiry to the server and receive the result. So here we can write a very simple, the very simple inquiry, which is just to check whether the system can go to deadlock or not. So how to write that? Okay, just we ask uh, if the system can go to deadlock or not. Okay, after we write the inquiry, we just click check. Okay, as we say, it's green. That means this is satisfied. There is no deadlock in this system. So again, as I mentioned, the tool is a composition of three parts: editor, simulator, verify. The editor used for modeling the system, simulator used to examine the behavior of the system, the sequence of the system, how the sequence of the system is works. And the third one is just for send and query to the server and receive the result.